And our top story tonight, after an Ebola scare at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, Governor Rick Scott is calling tonight for an increased response from the federal government and the Centers for Disease Control here in the state. SNN's John Woodruff has more on what this would mean for Suncoast airports.
I want to make sure that the 19.6 million people that live in our state, the 100 million people that come here as visitors, and everybody that potentially is going to be taking care of an Ebola patient is safe.
Florida Governor Rick Scott says the CDC and federal government failed to get ahead of Ebola in Texas. To keep our state prepared, he wants to start at the airports.
5 airports in the U.S. have implemented additional screening for patients. I agree with Senator Marco Rubio and believe that the federal government should add Florida airports to the list.
When you really look at it, there are no nonstop flights between the areas of Western Africa that are affected in any destination in the U.S.
Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport President Rick Piccolo says it's highly unlikely we will see a case of Ebola here, but he says they are prepared.
If it shows up at your doorstep, you have plans in place, one, to treat the person, isolate the person, and then to clean it up. We have plans for all 3 of those.
Piccolo says any international travelers will likely stop at another hub, and if they're traveling from West Africa, that will most likely be in Europe. The World Health Organization questions the effectiveness of screening arriving passengers and instead supports screening passengers as they leave the affected nations of Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia.
There's only so much screening you can do. I think the key is to stop it in its origin in those 3 countries and try to get it contained and controlled.
Reporting in Sarasota, John Woodruff. SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
And President Barack Obama says he would not rule out a travel ban to affected parts of Africa, but he says the experts he's spoken to say that will be less effective than the measures we already have in place.